Okay, we've decorated our first book, and I have all these scraps from the first one. This is the first one that I covered, the different pages. May go back later and add more decorating and more photo mats, but for now, this one is done, so I'm going to close that up. This is the scraps of printed paper that I had left over from that. I'm going to use these to measure and cover my other three. I still have quite a bit of 12 by 12 pattern papers that I can also use, but I want to make sure and use scraps whenever I can. So I have all of the magnets on all three, and I've cut down my pages to the size that I want, the different sizes, and I'm going to look at everything and trim them up, and then I'll come back and show you, go through it with you on how I covered my pages. Okay, so now we're ready to decorate, cover the other three albums of the set. And what I did, and what you might want to consider doing, is going through and cutting the papers, the larger pieces, like the fronts, all the fronts first, and then the larger pieces that you will need for each book. Cut them before using the smaller pieces to do some piecing. There is just enough paper in the kit for you to cover these. This is the scraps that I had left, just a few scraps. So I used all the papers. I have some left where I'm able to make different tags and things, but you need to make sure that you cut the bigger pieces that you need for each album before you cut down to the smaller pieces. So I'm ready to get started. I'm going to use my Xyron Mega tape runner. And like I said, I've pre-cut all my papers, but I'm going to go over it with you, what I used and the sizes. So the first one here, and the stuff that you see, if it shows up in the camera, I don't know if it does, is the temporary adhesive where I pulled them up. So the first piece I cut for this album here, the second album, we're going to 7 by 5 1/4. And again, I'm going to ink these up using Tim Holtz Black Soot ink. Ink up the edges. If the videos get to be taking too long, I may have to stop the camera and ink up a bunch of the pieces ahead of time. I'm not sure. We'll try to do it quickly here together. So ink it up, and then go ahead and put the adhesive on. And remember, when you're cutting out your papers, to measure twice, cut once. Be sure to check for your directions. Stars have no direction, but you may want to check your papers with words or stripes and make sure they're going the direction you want. And measure and position it so that you have a slight border, black border around the edges. Now I'm going to put the paper on that covers the magnet, and I'm using the stripe side. So let me ink that real quick. Now in your kit, if you purchase the kit, you will find one piece of paper that you're getting a half sheet of. I cut them down into halves. I added that in as a bonus because I felt like you needed. There's actually several full 12 by 12s that I've added in as an extra bonus, because as I was working on these, I determined that you would need certain ones more of, but the half sheet is so you would have just enough to cover a certain area. Hopefully I'll remember which one to tell you, but it will give you enough to cover that. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and cover the bottom, the back of the flaps and the top of the flap. Same measurement as before, 7 by 3 1/2. And I know this is black. This is the black dot. You can barely see the little dots, kind of a grayish black color. But I'm going to ink the edges because that is white there. And I want that inked up so it's not showing where the cuts were made. Now this one I want the dots showing, so I'm putting the tape runner on the back where the stripes are. And you can lay this out and use any patterns that you want. this is how I decided to do this one. Right around the magnets and then the top part. Okay, I'm going to close this back up and go ahead and work on my decorations for the front of the album. I laid these out and pre-planned them and then took a photo of it with my camera so that I will remember how I laid this out. So bear with me a moment while I pull that up. Okay, I'm going to use some of the stickers here. We have this row of arrows. Let's see if they're all attached. So I'm going to peel the backing off. And then I'm going to add just a little bit of ink where I can along the edges, especially where the white edges show. And then I'm going to position that to the left and in the center. And then I have this chipboard arrow that says Our Magical Adventure. And I need a little bit of glue for that, so let me get my glue dispenser here. I'm going to just put some right down the center. And I'm going to position this over these arrows. Oh, just to the right of the tip of the black one. And then it fits over the yellow one like, whoops, like that. Okay, I need a wipe. You have to be careful with the chipboards on these stickers when you're trying to stick it down because they're slick, so it does slide, but luckily it wipes off. There. Okay, a little dry there. And then next I took one of the 3x4s and then I cut a mat out of stripe that is 3.5 by 4.5. And I'm going to ink this up too. It says, "This is our happy place." And then I'm going to attach that to the mat. I like to use layers. It adds some dimension without making your pages or cover too terribly thick. So, and this is going to go like this. And then I have a cloud sticker. I think I'll put that on next. Has a little heart on it. This is on your 12 by 12 sticker sheet. I'm just kind of dabbing the ink just right around the edge a little bit. And before I stick this down, I'm going to position the cloud about right there. And then I'm going to also use this can't even think of what they're called now. I had them when I was a kid, but well, the name just escapes me. I can't think at all. So I'm just going to put it down. I want it to show where the believe shows. And let's see. And it goes here. So just the believe. A little bit on the cloud. Oh, about like that. That's where it's going to go. Should have punched out these little pieces before I stuck it down. I don't want the letters to come out, but I do want the little gap things. Makes it look more real. I apologize if my head is in the way. I'm using the cap of my glue to just poke these out. Okay, got that one. Oops, one more right here. Okay, I think I got them all that I need to be visible. Then I'm going to go ahead and put my tape runner on the back of this matted 3x4 card, and then I'm going to position it so you just see the word believe. And then I'm going to put this heart sticker about right there. And then I have picked out some of the little stars. These are chipboards, so I just want a dot of glue to add extra adhesive. Put a yellow star there. But I had 3 picked out. Let me see. I like to do things in 3s. Probably have one on the floor somewhere. Here's one. Let's see if I have any more left. Okay, I have a blue sticker. I'm going to put this one up here. Let me see what else I have. And I had a yellow star, so that was my 3rd one, and I'm going to put it right there. Okay? And let me check. I think that's all I had planned to put on that one. Yes, okay. So that's the front of this album. So now we'll go back to working on the inside. Let me throw my scraps away right quick. So we'll open this back up. And next we're going to make a pocket on this first flap. Pull these temporaries off here. Don't panic, I ran out of temporary tape runner adhesive, so I had to use a little bit of a glue stick so it pulls off just a little bit. Okay, to make this pocket, take some of your black cardstock scraps and cut out a piece that is 7" by 3". Score. Put this into the scoreboard at the 7" at the top, 6 1/2, ½ inch, turn it, score it ½ inch. Taper cut the corners out, the 2 squares, and then we're going to score it. And let's get the tape runner. I use the 1/4 inch tape runner. And apply that to each flap. Right in the center. Don't put any score tape on the score line, on the fold line. Fold it back like that, and then pull the tape off, the backing. And then position this onto the first inside flap, flush along the bottom and then to the sides right there. Then I cut a piece of paper that is 5 1/4 by 2 1/4 for the pocket. Can maybe add a tape runner. Let's see. Yep, I'm out. So I'm going to pause for a minute and get some more tape.